I'm Mary Wong, Chinese medicine practitioner and acupuncturist, founder of Alive Holistic Health, and author of the book Pathways to Pregnancy. Welcome to my live post number 75. And in honor of Valentine's Day, I want to talk about love. So let's talk about love, baby. That is salt and pepper, for those of you who remember. And why do I want to talk about love? Well, here's the thing. When it comes to life and living, and for those of you who are trying to conceive, I find that oftentimes love falls by the wayside. It's like a forgotten conversation as one tries to traverse through life, trying to conceive, by looking at it as a full-time job and really shoving the love aside. And I say, instead of just looking at love during Valentine's, and live it fully. How do you do that? Well, tonight I'm going to tell you how there are 5 ways to embrace your love to help you be receptive to the fertile you. So I wrote it down, and you can look at it as an acronym. So L is, so LOVE, of course it's going to spell something. L, I'm going to start with L. L is love for, well, I was looking for an acronym, and I was like, hey, one of the things that gets missed oftentimes is laughter. Laughter is key to living life and loving and self-love as well. And I think it's important because when you laugh, it helps to increase the relaxation hormones, increases levels of oxytocin, love hormones. So it's really important. Now, L not only stands for love, the other important aspect is about letting in your life, like family, mothers, fathers, sisters, siblings, even co-workers and friends. Because having disappointment in your life, because when you have expectations, you basically create levels of disappointment. Because guess what? When you have expectations, you're often not going to be able to fulfill on them. Now, the other really important piece is about letting go of fear. And I don't know if you know of the author Gerald Jampolsky, but I had the honor of seeing him, about 1993, so that's a good 26 years ago. His book is called Love is Letting Go of Fear. And here's what he says. Fear and love can never be experienced at the same time. It is always our choice as to which of these emotions we want. By choosing love more consistently than fear, we can change the nature and quality of our relationships. Is about embracing your life, and it's about embracing creation of life. So I hope you get what I'm saying here. And when we let go of fear, what we can also do is be open. Can you see that? So we're being open to being receptive, and we're being open to connecting, because connection is the other big piece about love. When there's no connection, there is no love. And again, connection, as we know, even in science, when we look at newborn rhesus monkeys, if there's no connection and no touch and no love, there's no ability to thrive. In fact, there's malnutrition to the point of death at times. So if you're wanting to create life, I invite you to, instead of shutting people out and shutting your partner out, open up and get related and be connected. Because having that connection So that's love. V is for being able to be vulnerable. And by vulnerability, I mean, unfortunately, when we go through struggles, and especially fertility struggles, there's a certain level of shame, not for everyone, but for a lot, because there's this expectation that you should be able to do this. And when you can't, there's a level of shame, because it's as though it's questioning your ability to be a woman or a man. Not fun. And so being able to be vulnerable and honest and sharing with your partner or those around you, or at least the selective few that you trust to be around, it's embracing your ability to be courageous, because I believe me, it takes a lot of courage to be vulnerable and open. But I do really recommend you to be that. And when you're able to be vulnerable and share your deepest self, you embrace your own humanity, and you also let someone understand. And that is just, and what I see with empathy is your ability to be empathetic with yourself as well as with others. So when someone, and I've said this in the previous post, but sometimes when we out looking, when we're in the place of trying to conceive and you look all around you, it seems like everybody else is getting pregnant, is pregnant, or has had a baby. When you see that around you, you forget that perhaps that these people actually have their own stories to tell. So really, I want you to live your life with more of an empathetic view, to see that you're not alone. And hence, that's why I wrote my book, Pathways to Pregnancy, see, because there are 15 stories. 15 stories of some incredible challenges, but there can be hope. And I hope that you'll find hope within that. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is, when we think about love, we often equate it to sex. And when we equate it to sex, we think love is love without orgasm, because a certain percent of our population actually don't ever have an orgasm in their lifetime. And that does not mean that you can't have a child either. So to me, it's not about focusing on mutual orgasms with your partner, but it's focusing on that love and intimacy. So what I would recommend is you look at one of the posts below here, and it is live post number 48 with Ray Dolman about sex and fertility. So we talk about intimacy and sex and love, and how intimacy does not even necessarily mean sex, and love and intimacy does certainly go hand in hand. But intimacy can mean holding hands, listening to each other fully without expectations. So please do that. And this is a short post because it's late. I want to go to bed. Anyway, my in California doing a coaching program. So that's going to be so awesome. I can't wait for that. However, because of that, I don't finish till 7 p.m., which is 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So next Wednesday, for my live post number 76, I'm going to be interviewing Catherine Flynn, who is the founder of Fertile Foods. And she's the author of the cookbook, Cooking for Fertility, Foods to Nourish Your Fertile Soul. So I'm pleased to introduce you to her, and she will provide us an awesome, yummy recipe. So check that out, and I shall see you next week. Please pick up my book, Pathways to Pregnancy. Oh, and by the way, I do talk about love and I refer to Ray Dolman in, I think, like page 105, 107, something like that. So do check it out. You can get it on Amazon, and you can get it on Barnes and Noble. You can get it on the Indigo chapters. And if you live in Toronto, you can come by and say hello. We're at a live